Trolling is a fucking art. Trolling is getting the person you're talking to get as pissed off as they possibly can, and for no reason except for your own enjoyment. Maybe you're trying to illustrate.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Build with me if you want to live. Just do it. I am Terminator T-1000. I am here to build and terminate all models on all scales. I'm here to answer Mr. Aaron Newlands' questions. 3. Just a minute. Now, your questions.
Question 1. What got you into modeling?
Well, what got me into modeling? Back in the 80s, there was a little booklet, I believe it was some booklet collection, they were collectibles, and in 1 week there was a little bit of that book, and in the end they would build a volume and another and another, and each booklet of those brought a sprue, a plastic sprue from the Revell kits, the old Revell kits of the F-15, of the F-14, the Zero, the Spitfire, the Messerschmitt, which was something that they were very proud to announce in the collection of those booklets. In the end, you get the entire collection of the air forces from around the world. And passionate as I am for flying machines and jets and airplanes, World War I, began to collect those sprues, and when that model was completed, I began the assembly of that model. I had a very small modeling shop, very small, with trains on it, and my father went and bought me those little umbral paints, and I started building terribly bad, terribly wrong, Jesus, those F-15s and those F-14s. But that's what got me into modeling, because afterwards I just couldn't stop, you know. I just couldn't stop. That little shop afterwards made a very nice acquisition of Tamiya models, the old ones, 1970s, those classics that you all see here in my channel and another's channel, the Panzer, the Type 97, all those tanks and planes. And I began in the early 90s, because I went to the army in 92. Very young. I was very young. I went like a volunteer. I volunteered myself to go. If I wanted to, I didn't even. I was in the what we call here the reserves. I just wanted to go, and I went to the army, and then began to earn my own money, and began bought the kits, and building kits, and building and building and building, and so on. And that's what got me into modeling.
Question 2. You build a variety of subjects, and what subject gets your attention and what attracts you to a kit?
Well, I build a variety of subjects because there are so many shapes, so many forms, so many machines that we can replicate on modeling. I find that very amusing, very fulfilling, and a challenge, sometimes a challenge. Some models are, by the way, thank you, Walter, by that Hayate, which is a very nice kit. It's driving me mad. I'm working on it, but it's a challenge, and that's mainly because why I make armor and planes, boats. Some of those are. That one is a wood boat over there. This one here. I just love the shapes. I just love the forms. Weathering a tank it's the most fun thing that there is. I mean, you can have 1,001 ways to weather a tank, an armor. You can simulate dirt. You can simulate mud. It's very open possibilities. That's very good. On planes, different kind of machines. Planes really get me in a very profound way, because you see, armor and boats belong to the ground, to the water, to the surface. Planes belong to the sky. And normally, usually, we are not made to go to the sky. And the way that mankind did it was a fantastic challenge that we overcome. To build a machine much heavier than air, to place it on the air, to make it fly. And if you watch the last 100 years since the Wright brothers flew on Kitty Hawk, and now we're going to space, that's something. That is something. And the shapes, the different shapes of airplanes, it's the camo patterns. It's great. And the history behind the airplanes, you know. For instance, you see an ace, at least 5 kills, confirmed kills. An ace has, as you know, at least 5 confirmed kills. But sometimes I think, what about the other guy on the other side of the machine gun of that ace? Because an ace is a 5 times killer, let's say, machine against machine, but there's someone on that machine that you also build. the Bismarck. When I made the Bismarck, I saw time and time again, time and time again, the documentary on National Geographic, and what got me more was not the images of the boat, but the history of the survivors and how they were left on the sea to die because the sailors didn't want to let them there. But so the model, the man, and the history behind all those factors, that's what gets me into modeling. That's what captivates me. And the fact that you can get a lot of plastic styrene, place it, and transform it into a piece of history, that is something. That is, for me, is something. That's why I say, and I'm going to get a subject that it was already dead for me, but you will understand. That's why I say that I love swastikas, because that's because of her, it was because of it, that so many men died, willingly or not, and the model is a piece of history. And if it has a swastika, it should have the swastika on it. Not as a homage, but if you forget your history, you tend to commit the mistakes, the same mistakes again. So you should not forget it. That's the point. That's where those guys who make those comments forget. If you forget the history back, you probably will make the same mistakes in the future. That's what gets me into modeling. That's what captivates me on a model kit. All those factors. Okay, I'm sorry, the answer was very confusing. I jumped from subject to subject, but
Question 3. If you had to improve in one area other than the termination of humankind, what area of your modelling would you want to improve?
well, other than the termination of my own kind, so bad. Where do I would like to improve? On everything. I got hand on several Verlinden manuals, modeling manuals, recently, and I started to read them, and all techniques that are displayed on that book and explained on that book are just replaced, simply replaced. The weathering techniques are just replaced with washes nowadays. And it explains how to do pastel washes, oil washes, which I love to do, all sorts of techniques that back in the old days, modelers would do without the support of these kinds of technologies nowadays. I would like to improve everything. I would like to learn all those techniques in order to be able to not depend on these. Not because they are bad. Much the contrary, they are fantastic, but they steal a lot of the fun of modeling, like when you have photo etched parts and they are already painted. What the hell? Why don't painting it yourself? Why are they painted? Well, I would like to improve on everything, but especially if I have to be specific on weathering armor the most realistic way and shipping armor the most realistic way that I could. That's to learn some techniques, some weather techniques, because like I previously said, it's so much fun to weather an armor, a tank. I would like very much to learn and to know how to weather a tank the most perfect way that there could be. By the way, a plane also, why not? But I would like also to learn how to paint figures in an artistic way, like you see Hamilcar, like you see Bill, like you see Aaron. I would like very much to know how to paint. When I look at my figures, I say, okay, it's alright, but there's something missing. That's that experience, that touch that some figure painters have that I still don't have. So I would like very much to improve on those subjects.
Question 4. Who would you say has had the greatest influence on your modelling?
Well, the greatest influence on my modeling, all of you guys. I started this channel, for instance, even before that. I restarted modeling because every night I went to my laptop and on YouTube I would write modeling, Panzer, Spitfire, and I watched the movies while the tutorials and all, and I watched Rob's videos because you're not the older, but you're the one who is on YouTube with more videos and models. Lenny's, Pete. I started to watch all those videos and I said, well, that's something I should restart. That's something I should do again because there was something missing in my life, and I didn't know what. Now I know. It's money. And no, it isn't. Yes, it is. And I started to watch all those videos, and I mean, you guys all remember from my previous videos, I made those videos laid down or upside down or backwards, whatever, on this. And one day I was making the Spitfire, and I didn't know how to make that camel pattern look so well, so good, like you guys did. And all of you guys gave me a lot of advices. Ekuboshi and Walter and Chancer say, well, buy some silly putty and place them on the wings, and well, and I went and do that, and that night I was having dinner with my sister. The plane was drying, and I said, oh man, that plane is going to be so worthless. That's going to be awful. And when I took that silly putty and I saw the result, I was amazed, and I just had to do a video thanking all you guys. And that day, UK Scale Modeler also, I remember that video. It's here. So all of you guys are my influence, and not all of you who are over there and deal with me in a more daily fashion. All YouTubers all modelers on YouTube. And there are a lot. They are great. And you can learn the same techniques with different variants. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's awesome. And all of you guys, no doubt about it.
Question 5. If you could have a dream kit, what would it be of? And what would make it?
Well, my dream kit. My dream kit is the 350 Tamiya battleship Yamato. Or, like Waterloo says, the fucking Yamato. You really should see that video. It's something. It's something. I cracked myself up. 350 Tamiya battleship Yamato. I saw videos on it about it. I had the opportunity to buy it once in my lifetime. Until now, once. And I didn't get that opportunity because I wasn't ready. I had my that Enterprise over there, that aircraft carrier, which I'm going to totally rebuild it now. Totally. I'm going to tear him apart, rebuild it. And I want to see if I can place some interiors on it. But when I saw that one, which cost me 180 euros back then in 2006, 2007, right next to him, there it was, the 350 Yamato. 250 euros. To be honest, it was not because of the price. Back then, it was not because of the price. But I built this one because after built the U-boat, I was still injured on my arm. I needed something to do, to keep on doing. And I said, oh, what the hell. Anytime's a good time. I was saving it from when I had a home, because you can imagine moving with that huge thing on a car or the truck, you can imagine. But I started building it. But the Yamato, I have so much respect for that kit in particular, that I just couldn't buy it. I wasn't ready. And that kit brought it was a new tooling back then, the new one, brought all the copper, all the photo etch parts, the railings, which you have to place the wires between a microscopic hole and then keep pulling on the other side until to the other one, and insert it and keep pulling it all around the plane. And we're talking about 2-3 rows and microscopic holes in the, and we're just talking about the railings. So it's a very well made kit. I know that there is the 1-200 Tirpitz or Bismarck, which is bigger, but in my opinion, just in my opinion, only in my opinion, the 350 Yamato is one of the definite tests to a modeler skills. I know I built the Bismarck in 10-12 days, maybe. I was on vacation, but even that, 10-12 days, I could never ever build the battleship Yamato at the rate of time that I was giving to the Bismarck in 1 month. I know it for sure. It's very complex. So that's my dream kit.
Question 6. If you could own a real vehicle, what would you want to own?
An F-16. There's something about the F-16 that it fascinates me. The F-16 is obviously I've been very close to one. I have just hurt myself on the X-Acto knife, and that's not one of the answers. Shit. This never happened. An F-16. There's something about F-16s that they are sleeky, aggressive. The position of the pilot, sitting in the front on the 360 degrees visibility bubble. Very powerful machine, very fast machine, a very high-tech machine still is. Not an F-22, not an SR-71, an F-16. I would love to do some wild maneuvers on that. I haven't lost that dream. So, shit, this hurts. Damn. I haven't lost that dream. One day to go in an F-16 and do some pilot shit inside it. So, yes, that would be the vehicle that I would like very much to have without limitation. Shit.
Question 7. Is there anything in the hobby you'd like to see done or be different? Techniques, kits, or attitudes?
Well, I miss the old stores, you know. I miss the old stores where you enter the store and you could talk about modeling to the owner of the store. He could recommend you a kit. You could talk about techniques, and at the end of the day, you could, only bought one kit, but arrive at home full of techniques and things to do, you know? I grew up, that store that I talked about in the first few questions at the back, the owner of the store was an engineer, retired engineer. He worked with his son. His son was also a modeler. And each time I entered in that store, I could stay there for hours. Even today, I sometimes have my day off and I go to the store, to that old lady store that I talked to you sometimes, or the other one on the mechanic, the shop, the mechanic. And maybe I buy one kit, yeah, okay, or some weathering powders or some brushes, whatever. But I stay there for 2 hours, 3 hours, looking at the kits and actually talking to the mechanic, because he's the owner of that shop and he is a modeler. But what I see nowadays is you go to a big surface and you have a shelf full of models, and they are all great. and you ask for some opinion, and no one cares, few know about it, and the ones who know about it are too busy to give you an answer. And that's too bad. You lose the human factor on buying a model, because what I absorb, what I keep when I buy a model is a conversation between the modeler and other one. Is the owner of the store who really knows something about it, and he enlightens me, and I arrive home with a kit and more rich here and here. And that's what I would like to see changed on a hobby. The kits itself are very good nowadays. You have the new toolings from Zvezda, from Tamiya, from Airfix, which they definitely give Tamiya a run for its money. I believe nowadays technologies improve the kits, and that's very good. That's very good. Techniques, the weathering powders are something very easy to obtain nowadays, and they make our work a lot easier, for instance. But I kind of tend to get back to the oil washes and to very thin paint, you know, to the old techniques. I believe times changing. Times do change, and we change with them. So I hope I answered this question the best way. I tried to answer it the best way I could.
Question 8. If you had to explain to a non-modeler what is the greatest benefit of modelling, what would you choose?
The greatest benefit of modeling. That's a good question. Besides the money you spend on instead of having brain therapy, well, you grow culturally. You grow. It's impossible to build a model without knowing a little bit of his history. You learn how to be patient. You learn how to be calm. When the shit hits the fan, you learn how to adapt and to overcome, because things do happen on modeling. You saw my video back. One of the answers, I was cleaning one of the wheels of the Type 97 Tamiya tank, and I cut myself. Things do happen, and like that, you are making an airplane and you commit a mistake. You make a mistake and you have to clear that mistake, but without messing the model. But above all, you learn what's a human being and the capability of the human being as a being. What I'm trying to say is, you learn that you can do things that are pieces of art, something that you sometimes just associate to big artists and big painters and those who are in the museums, and you learn that you can do the same thing at scale in a different variety, but the same kind of art and with your own hands. and that's something that you thought you would never be able to do, and that changes the world. That changes completely the world. That makes you a better person. That make all of those who are around you better persons, because they all grow up, they all see that model, they all learn with it, and they all see what you are capable of, and you can transmit that legacy, let's say, to all of those who are near you, just because that airplane that is over there in the exposed in your own personal museum, that's something. It makes the world better. It makes the world a better place. When people learn and when you grow, that makes the world a better place. And believe me, maybe some of you, obviously we all know what the man can do, what the man is capable of in a bad way, but I saw what man can do in a very bad way. And believe me, we're animals. And everything that can improve us as human beings, that's something.
Question 9. What is your biggest piece of advice for new modelers and or intermediate experienced modelers who are struggling with the hobby?
My best advice, don't ever give up. And I mean literally. I see through some of my subscribers, and I am remembering a name now. I don't know if I should say it here. I will not say it, not because it's a bad thing, because I admire that guy a lot. And he doesn't even know about it, and I admire him a lot. Not because he is always positive on my comments. I think everybody is. Most of you are heartfelt, and some of you, sometimes just, I can say in a video, oh, my dog is dead, I'm devastated, and someone writes the comment, nice build. You know the guy. But I admire that guy a lot, because I see through his videos, through his snap photos, that he is a very poor person in economically speaking. And even so, every month or every 2 months, he posts a video with the build. And sometimes you see the plane or the tank that he builds, but behind, and I cannot stop doing this because, sorry, I'm a cop. I have to see the details, and that sticks with me, you know. And you see the moisture in those walls, but he don't give up. He keeps on doing a model. He keeps on posting videos. He keeps on building. I just could say his name. I won't say it. I'm just pointing him as an example. He is the best answer I can give to you, and I can give to the others, to the intermediate modelers who are struggling. Never, never give up. If you like to build, build. If you cannot afford a Bismarck, if you cannot afford, build a 172nd. If you cannot afford a 172nd, damn, build a 144. And if you cannot afford that, I believe here in this community, someone will notice that and will send to you a model. That can take some time, but it's not impossible. So, I believe never give up. It's a very cliche word, but it's a sum of all situations in life that sometimes makes you stop building. Some of them are good. Louis, for instance, now you have a child, but you will build eventually again. Life sometimes have those kinds of roundabouts, but never to give up. That's so important, because if you don't give up on a simple plastic kit, you will learn never to give up in big decisions in life and in big situations, and that's important.
Question 10. What do you think the future holds for modelling and your place in it?
Well, what do I think the future holds for modeling and my place in it? We're not too many modelers around, but I believe everything will be okay. I mean, we see here in YouTube very young modelers who are very, very good, and we see others that are growing in the hobby right now. Um, and there's something that I noticed in a video a while ago, just a little while ago. There was this kid who made the A6M3 ZERO 148. He painted it by hand. Didn't paint the canopy, and he was regretting and saying that the paint was all snapped and didn't grab on the plane, on the model. And of course we all commented the build, and then said a few techniques, prime. But there were a lot of very, very young modelers helping him, and that is very good. It holds. I don't want to be dramatic, but there's hope. And that's very, very good, very rewarding to see that the ones who are already ahead of those, they come back and are grabbing them, and taking them forward with them. So that's good. That's very good. My place in it. Well, I'm going to be right here building stuff. I'm going to be right here building stuff, and as long as YouTube allows me to post my videos, to do this, as long as I have you guys commenting on the other side, or not commenting but on the other side, that's good for me. This is it's been a great journey, let's call it. It was the best thing that I've done this year, and it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot, personally and emotionally. I live with the constant feeling of being away from my daughter, and in other times, thinking on that just kind of killed me, little by little, and the channel helped me a lot. You guys helped me a lot. So probably my place will be right here, building. and saying some stupid things, sometimes like big fat swastikas, and swearing, because there's one thing I would like to explain you guys. I've told a few of us who talk with me via Skype. Sometimes I swear a lot. I do speak English, but the first minutes are very fluent, and the second hour or the minutes ahead of those are, the words begin to lack, you know, and the line of thought begins to oscillate, and some words just don't appear on my mind. And when I want to transmit emotions, that's very difficult. It's not the best way, but sometimes I swear a lot. First of all, I admit I do swear a lot, even in my personal life. But I do know to whom I swear a lot, you know? I'm not going to swear a lot to a lady or a gentleman who comes to me and I'm working and I say, fuck no, no, you have to go to the bloody right. No, I won't do that. But I swear to transmit emotions, which I know it's not the correct way. But so my place will be just right here. If you let me, that's enough for me. That's my little space right here.
Question 11. What one attitude do you think a modeler must possess to be successful?
He must have patience. In my opinion, he must have patience. When you buy a model, you tend to see the finished product. You go and buy the plane, and well, you are looking at the box, and you are seeing the plane that you want to build. The plane, you are visioning the plane already built it, already built. Sorry. And that sometimes doesn't happen. I mean, in the building, during the building of the assembly of that model, there's something that happens, and you keep your expectations so high that they fall apart very fast, and that's the main reason why sometimes we all have some models just dropped in the box in the corner. Our own expectations are our worst enemy, and so in order to keep the expectations between a reasonable level, you have to be very patient. You have to know how to wait, and you have to be patient enough not to accelerate the process. Well, unless you're a Terminator. But you have to be patient.
Question 12. What has been your worst thing that has ever happened during modelling?
One of the worst accidents that ever happened to me modeling. Well, I hate to be a disappointment to you guys. I never had so many accidents of that kind. You saw in another video I stabbed myself with the X-Acto knife on my finger, but that's a small thing. I would just wanted to say something respecting this subject. If you someday are building a model, and if you, let's say, have a glass of whiskey by your side, please be careful, because you have to be careful with the position that you have where you have the glass whiskey and the super glue, because that can be very annoying, because they are very, very much alike. They are very much alike, as you can see here. The similarities are, you tend to be distractive talking to someone via Skype, Aaron, and sometimes can happen that if you want to reach your glass of whiskey, probably you will, because they are very similar, as you can see, you will grab the super glue and you will bring it to the mouth, and you will realize that just in the nick of time. And that's the closest I was from having an accident, a modeling accident. I almost drank super glue. I didn't drink it. I wondered how it tasted. So that's my... Oh, and I cut myself once on my hand. You cannot see it, but here is the mark. But no big deal at all. I was cutting an evergreen, which, by the way, I don't know why they call it evergreen if it is always white. It's not a joke. It's a real question. But well, that's the closest I've been to, and the worst accident I've ever had on modeling. Before ending this transmission, there's only one thing I would like to say. Just one thing. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes you guys say to me, or Aaron, who said, you're the Terminator of models. You're a fast builder, you build so fast. I have to be honest with you guys. I just built fast because I'm pretty fucked up in the head. I'm pretty messed up in the head. And being concentrated on what I am doing and keep on building and gluing stuff and achieving the completed model. I don't try and do that on the shortest time possible. I'm just so messed up in my head sometimes, missing my daughter or work or whatever, that I just have to do that. I have to do what I'm doing, and when I realized it's almost done or completely done. So I would like very much to thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you guys who helped me rise here on YouTube, on our community, and I would like very much to thank you guys and to say that it means a lot to me. Being here on this beautiful little country, which is Portugal.
Which is not in South America, Louis.
Not in South America, Louis. And being able to build kits, share it with you, that's something that is enough for me. I love to do it. I want to keep on doing it. And I would like to thank you all. Thank you very much to all of you Some of you are my friends now. I talk to you guys every day. Some of you don't, but I consider you still friend. And I just wanted to thank you guys, okay? Thank you very much. Keep building. Thank you, Aaron, for this opportunity, okay? Thank you very much for this opportunity. You may not believe it, I've already told you. I made the channel on YouTube with this purpose, with this objective, but without saying you anything at all. Because if I said to you anything, that would seem that I was making a plan, you know. So I just couldn't say anything to you. But thank you very much. Thank you all. Keep modeling.